Carlos Stanton is a Yankee. Let's join the press conference to introduce Stanton right now on the Fan.
Starlin Castro and minor leaguers Jorge Guzman and Jose Devers. We are here to obviously introduce and welcome Giancarlo to the Yankees, the newest member of the New York Yankees, and allow our fans for the first time to see Giancarlo don the pinstripes. As we begin, I'd like to take a moment to thank the Commissioner's Office, who offered up this space and a window of time to allow us to perform this press conference. This is a big room, and it's fitting for this type of news-making announcement. The winter meetings attract a huge swath of our industry. We welcome you here. We also welcome the fine journalists that cover the sport. I said something last week when we introduced Aaron Boone as the 33rd manager in the history of the Yankees franchise that I think bears repeating. These are the type of announcements that our fans rally behind and they get excited for, and it causes them to look towards the 2018 schedule. It's coming. I mentioned again last week that pitchers and catchers report to George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa on February 13th, and we're counting down. We're now at 64 days. With that in place, I would like to introduce the members of our dais. To my far left, Gene Afterman, the Yankees Senior Vice President and Assistant General Manager. Beside me to my left is Hal Steinbrenner, the Managing General Partner of the New York Yankees. To my immediate right, newly brought on board Aaron Boone, Yankees manager. The man of the hour, Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo, thank you for coming here today. We appreciate it. And Brian Cashman, of course, the Yankees Senior Vice President and General Manager. With the introductions in place, I'd like to call Brian up to the podium now, please.
Thanks, Jason. These are exciting times. Every day, our baseball operations department, under the guidance of the Steinbrenner family, are trying to find ways to improve the club. Sometimes they're in big ways, sometimes they're in small ways. Today is a day of welcoming a new addition to our band of merry men. I think that we have a lot of exciting, talented players that you saw play out and compete on a daily basis last year. But we have higher hopes, and that's part of our job description, is to find pieces that can help us take further steps, pieces that can play a role in the future efforts to try to find a way to be that last team standing. And you know, despite what we're here to do today to talk about, which is welcoming Giancarlo Stanton to the New York Yankees as another member of that band of merry men, the job doesn't finish. You know, we got to keep finding ways to improve. There's other aspects of the roster that we want to attack and fortify, and to make sure that we can do everything in our power to, within reason, obviously, to put a team that Aaron Boone and his coaching staff can go forward with. So with that, I like to turn this over to Aaron Boone.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you again to the Steinbrenner family for allowing such a special day to happen for this franchise. Today is a celebration for the New York Yankees, for our fan base, and a celebration of one of the great players in our sport, in Giancarlo Stanton. I can't tell you how excited we are that this has all transpired, and now it's going to be the realization of him being a part of our outstanding young team, young nucleus. And as much as we are excited to have the National League MVP join our lineup and all that goes with that, and all the expectations we have for him to come in and play so well at Yankee Stadium, we have a group of young men that we're so excited about what they bring from a character standpoint in that room. We feel like we really have a special culture brewing, and we feel like adding Giancarlo Stanton, yes, the player, but just as much the person to that room, he's only going to make it even stronger. And I can't wait to continue to get to know him better and build our relationship. And I just want to celebrate him today and introduce him as the newest New York Yankee, Giancarlo Stanton.
Welcome, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. Giancarlo, if you can hold up the back of the uniform.
No.
Come. If you guys can slide over from behind.
Okay.
Catch one together.
Come out here.
That's good. We're good right here. Get out of that photo.
Obviously, a photo op for the Stanton jersey right now. Number 27 he will be wearing. So, Giancarlo Stanton, who will speak in a second. Everyone is waxing poetic about what a wonderful human and everything else. But what they like is 59 home runs and the MVP and 1,000 OPS, but that's what they got. He is putting on his number 27. Is that the number he wore every year in Miami, guys? I don't even remember. Is that what he wore? I guess he did, right? So was that what he wore every year? I don't even know. I'm sure he must. He must. 27. Okay, that's his number every year in Miami. He's putting on his uniform right now. He comes to the Bombers with an enormous resume. He also comes to the Bombers with an enormous contract.
You can come up here, Giancarlo.
Here he is wearing his pinstripe uniform. Here's Giancarlo Stanton.
How's it going, everybody? Just want to say I'm glad to be here and part of the New York Yankees. This is going to be a great new chapter in my life and my career, so I want to thank everybody involved to be able to get this done. Gene, Mr. Steinbrenner, Aaron, and Mr. Cashman. This has been, quite the experience, quite the road to get here. When I signed up in Miami, I wanted things to work out, and I had a good vision there. But sometimes things just spiral out of place, and you have to find a new home. So I'm very excited to be here and be a part of the Yankees, and I'm just looking forward to stepping up and being with this winning environment and winning culture. So I'm happy to be here.
Giancarlo, stay right here next to him. For those of you who joined late, again, we have 2 wireless mics, one on each side of the room. Please raise your hands. Please be patient and kindly introduce yourselves before asking the question to Giancarlo. I'll be to the left trying to direct traffic. Front row, Eric.
Giancarlo, Eric Bolin with New York Newsday. Can you just give some insight into why you included the Yankees on your list of teams that were acceptable destinations and why you ultimately gave the go-ahead for this deal?
Just watching them from afar, seeing their young dynamic group, the way they flow together on the field, how they never give up, never quit. The atmosphere, the storied franchise. I mean, there's not much you can say of why you wouldn't want to be there. And they're for sure on the list where I want to be.
Does this stay in the same location, Brendan?
Giancarlo, what's your relationship like with Aaron Judge? You spent some time with him during the Home Run Derby All-Star Game.
Yeah, we met at the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby. A lot of craziness going on during that time, so we just said hello and we respect each other's game and, had fun in the Derby and the game. And I've spoken to him there since a couple of days ago, and, we're excited. We're excited to get better together and use our talents together because we're very similar, and, we're going to learn from each other and make each other better.
Ron, same area.
Hi, Giancarlo. Ron Blum from AP. Did Derek ever speak with you and try to persuade you to stay or encourage you to leave? And why did you say no to San Francisco and St. Louis?
We had a meeting, yes. We spoke about the direction of the team. I wanted us to go forward and have an advance with the pitching staff. I thought our lineup was legit, and we needed help with our pitchers, and we needed to add rather than subtract. And the way they wanted to go was to subtract. So I let that be known. I didn't want to be a part of another rebuild, another losing season, and that's almost a guaranteed losing season, taking away what I thought was a great lineup. So yes, I didn't want to be a part of a rebuild. Now I gave my list of teams prior to, and they went to San Francisco and Cardinals and struck deals with them. So I was open to listen to them, but those were not my teams, and those are great people. They were great meetings and a great organization and culture there, but that just wasn't the fit for me.
Who else has questions? Front row, right here in the middle. Can you?
Miami, thank the organization. But you also mentioned that you were trying to be professional when it was an unprofessional circus at times. Can you elaborate on the unprofessional circus?
I mean, you guys are the media. You've seen what has gone on down there. So what I mainly meant was just no structure, no stamp of this is how things are going to be. It's a different direction every spring training. You got to learn something new every spring, a different manager every spring, every middle of the season. So that's mainly what I meant.
Standing up to your right, Giancarlo.
Giancarlo, Andrew Marchand, ESPN. Just in terms of where you're going to play, how do you envision where you'll play, in respect to Aaron's also a right fielder?
That doesn't matter where I'm going to play. So I'm willing to play wherever I need that can fit the team. Whether that's rotating around right field with Aaron, DH. We haven't spoken about that specifically, but we're open to find whatever works, makes us the best.
Front row to your right, Mike.
Giancarlo, Mike Mazzia from the New York Daily News. How do you feel like you'll acquiesce yourself to the pressure of playing in New York? You've never played in a postseason before. I mean, what's it going to be like to join a team that was on the cusp of reaching the World Series last year?
It's what I've always wanted. It's what I've dreamed of. You always want to be in competitive games where they mean something, and your performance means something to the team and the city. So it's going to be a fun challenge, and I'm looking forward to it.
Staying to the right, Tyler.
Giancarlo, the Yankees have obviously a big tradition of bringing in the sluggers from elsewhere. Reggie Jackson and Winfield and Giambi and A-Rod. How aware are you of sort of that history, and how important is it to you to be part of that, doing some of the things that they did?
Not directly aware besides A-Rod, but those are names that I obviously know. It's going to be fun. Like I said, it's a good company of names to be a part of. But this is a separate group. This is a new young team, and I just want to mesh with them.
Same spot, Giancarlo.
Jim Hayes, Fox Sports Midwest. The Cardinals pursued you deeply and had the meeting. You had the meeting with Cardinal representative. Did they come close to swaying you at all and maybe changing your decision to come to St. Louis?
I've always watched them from afar as well. We share the same spring training, so I've noticed how they go about their business. How it's business. It's winning first, culture, the fans, everything. It's a great organization. And we did have a good meeting, but I wanted to see my options to the teams that I originally chose.
We're going to take a few more. I'd also like to acknowledge Joel Wolf, Giancarlo's longtime representative. Thank you for being here, Joel. Who had a question, Mark? Front row.
Mark Feinstein, MLB.com. You're a West Coast guy. You've played in Miami your whole career. What was it about New York that was appealing to you that made you put the Yankees on the list of teams you would accept a trade to?
The team, the dynamic of they strike from everywhere, and they're well balanced, and they're hungry. the city's been waiting for another World Series, another playoff run, and they got close enough this year. But hopefully with my addition, we're gonna advance and be a better team. We have to go out and perform, but I want to make this team better.
We're going to shift to the left, Giancarlo, all the way to the left.
Giancarlo, Derek Gold, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You obviously were open to taking those meetings with both the Giants and the Cardinals. I wondered why you did that then if they weren't on your list, what you wanted to hear from them that might have swayed you, and ultimately what didn't you hear from those two teams to not come to an agreement with either?
I really just wanted to learn what another organization is like. All I've experienced is the Marlins, and basically one way of going about things. So I wanted to see how other organizations went about their business, and how the city and everything would appeal to me if that was a way that I wanted to go.
Staying left, Tim.
Giancarlo, I know leaving Miami and something undone is probably somewhat bittersweet for you, or at least was early on in the process. What would you say to the fans now you leave behind and that organization seems to be leaving behind as well? What would you say to them?
I would say to hang in there. They're hurting. They're going to go through some more tough years. But no, I would advise them not to give up. Just keep hope. Maybe watch from afar if you're going to watch. But those guys are they battle too. The guys that are out there, they're good kids, and they need some support too.
Andy, staying left.
Giancarlo, Andy McCullough from the Los Angeles Times. Just during this process, how aggressive do you feel like the Dodgers were in trying to, make this work? I know obviously you had a desire to play there, being from LA.
I'm not sure how aggressive they were. Just whatever knowledge you guys have.
We'll take one or two more. Back to the right.
Mr. Stanton, William Holtz, Lake TV. I'm interested, and obviously Mr. Jeter has his responsibility with the Marlins, but it's realistic. It's a business. They're in rebuild, and you don't want to stay. I'm curious as to what it was like. Did you seek his counsel as far as what it's like to play in New York, and what did he say about the teams pursuing you outside of the Marlins?
No, I haven't talked about that with him yet. But that dynamic was I gave the teams I wanted. New York was definitely on top of the list, and we were able to get a deal done.
All right, so that is it for Giancarlo Stanton. If he is available to the media, we'll take him today. I don't know what they're doing from the winter meetings. It's not a Yankee Stadium press conference. Remember, that's why you heard LA Times. That's why you heard the Cardinal guys. This is in Orlando. This is at the winter meeting. So the other baseball writers are in the room. So they also, the Yankees called on them, and they want to know about why you didn't go to St. Louis, why you didn't go to the Dodgers, what did you think about Jeter, what did you think about. So it's not just the Yankee thing today because it's not a Yankee press conference. It's a Yankee press conference, but it's in a hotel where all the media is. So that's why it's a little different makeup of the media today. That's why you got the questions that you got. But you heard Giancarlo Stanton. The one thing he said there that was at least in any way educational was he didn't care where he played. Now, he has not played anywhere except right field in his career. So maybe he's being trying to be a very good teammate. Maybe he doesn't want to rock the boat. Maybe he'll feel that way in real. I don't know. Remember, Yankee Stadium is a very tough left field. It's a very big left field. It's a hard left field to play. Much harder to play than right field, which has obviously got the short porch and is a much easier field to play than left field. They are both right fielders. One of them is going to have to move to left field. He did also mention some time at DH. We'll see. He's only 28 years old. I don't know how much time he'll spend at the DH spot. But this is a massive man. I mean, this is 6'6", 250 pounds. This is a very, very big. I mean, it's going to look like the Yankees have two tight ends with Judge and Stanton. They are big men, really big men, and very powerful, as you know. And so one will be in left, one will be in right. If you're not familiar with Stanton, Stanton he went to high school at Notre Dame in Sherman Oaks, California. He's from California. And he went to high school at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks, California, which is obviously a very prominent suburb. And so he's a California guy. That's why the Dodgers, a lot of people had married him to the Giants because of his California background. And the Giants have handled stars in the past. For some reason, he didn't like the Giants. And, you know, the early prevailing wisdom in baseball was that he was going to go to the Giants. I mean, that was what you heard a lot of. Didn't happen. Giants didn't land him. Cardinals didn't land him. Those are two teams where you know you're going to teams that can both compete. I mean, they compete and they win. So you know that. That's why those two made sense. Didn't happen with either one. So instead he winds up being on the Yankees, wearing number 27, and we'll see which ones between Judge and Stanton will play in right field on opening day. But obviously, the middle of the Yankee order has Judge and Bird and Sanchez, and now Giancarlo Stanton right in the middle, smack in the middle of it, right there. So it is a very, very powerful team that the Yankees will field, and they now have to work on some other things, like jettisoning some of the extra parts, and really three things. Jettisoning some of the extra parts led by Ellsbury, keeping the economics under the luxury tax if at all possible, and that is a very big thing they've wanted to do, and improving the pitching. So those are the things the Yankees have to do as they continue on their way, but they have now added the reigning NL MVP, who this past year hit .281. He's a lifetime .268 hitter. He had 59 homers. He's at 267 in his career. I think 267 home runs in his career. And at 28, the four-time All-Star is ready to play on a winning team, and now he has joined the Yankees. Back after this.